might be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, guys, I've been waiting to say this all offseason. We are officially going with these Dynasty Superflex startups. Now, if you want in one of these startup drafts and you've already messaged me on Patreon, please don't be sending me another message. I already have your name down on the list to get into those Dynasty leagues. Yet, if you are over on Patreon and you have not messaged me by now and you want to get on that list, do so ASAP, because I'm going to be going down in order, one by one, messaging people to fill those spots. So please claim your spot now. And of course, if you want to support the show on Patreon, that is still always possible. I will leave that link down in the description below. But that's it. And what we're going to be doing in this video is I asked y'all on Twitter, I said, hey, send in some recent Dynasty trades you've made and I can grade them, I can roast them, because that's what we always do. I come on here, I talk about my own Dynasty trades, and people tell me in the comment section, Mason, you're stupid. Why does anybody watch you? And I sit here and I take it, and I like it. So I'm going to do the same thing with y'all. But anyway, the first one that we are getting from Twitter is coming from Josh, and he's saying that he traded Courtland Sutton, the 208 and the 201, for Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Okay, so now y'all know that we've made multiple videos so far this offseason where at the very beginning of the offseason, I think maybe even before the Super Bowl, we were telling y'all, hey, Courtland Sutton is massively undervalued. Go try to buy Courtland Sutton right now. And we've also made videos saying, do not be trading away your rookie picks. Hold on to them tight until we get to the NFL draft. Then, after the NFL draft, not only is the hype going to be absurd, but you also will have a much better idea of who you're going to be looking at with the picks. But with saying those two things, in that I know I'm on record saying I like Courtland Sutton's price and I want to be holding on to rookie picks right now, I think that what you did here was completely fine. I actually really like this trade, going out and getting Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Now, I'll say that Zeke has had quietly a pretty good offseason so far, where for Zeke, we know a major concern is always, what is he going to do during the offseason? Is he going to be on a parade float messing with some girls? Is he going to be on a live stream smoking? Like, we don't know. But Zeke has had a quiet offseason to go along with that. We know that Dak Prescott has that long-term deal. And at the same time, you are getting Tony Pollard. And I will admit, I don't love the idea of handcuffing your running backs. But if he's being thrown into the deal, it can't hurt. I mean, Zeke is still extremely young. I know he came out in that 2018 NFL draft. But still, you look at Zeke and you're kind of surprised with his age, but he came out at 21 years old. That's why you love drafting those 21-year-old running backs. Look at Cam Akers, look at DeAndre Swift, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, all those guys from last year's draft. So here, I'm actually probably going to grade this trade. Let's call it a 7 out of 10. I really like going out there and getting that stud running back. If it's a one quarterback league where you're not going to be expecting Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Zach Wilson to all go off the board, then we love this trade, because what we know then is those rookie picks are worth a lot less. So yeah, fantastic trade here. And now our next one is going to be coming from Richard, who's asking us, I'm sorry, he's not asking us, he already made it, but he traded away James Robinson for the rookie pick 103. And here, I want to roast some Dynasty trades, but we can't. We are going to have to say, man, I have no idea how you got this trade done. Now, I really hope that this is a Superflex league, because if it's a Superflex league, that rookie pick 103 is going to be fantastic. I mean, over on Patreon, we do have our rookie ADP updated. And right now, on Superflex formats, at the 103, you're going to be expecting to get a Najee Harris, a Travis Etienne, because we know at the 101, you're consistently seeing Trevor Lawrence, and you can safely say that you would rather have either one of those rookie running backs over James Robinson. And trust me, guys, I know James Robinson was a beast last season. James Robinson ended up costing me a ton of wins last season because I did not have him across any of my rosters. But what we can acknowledge is, we can acknowledge that this Jacksonville Jaguars team literally has no investment into James Robinson. They also have a ton of draft capital this upcoming year, and no, they're not going to draft someone to replace James Robinson, but maybe they think that the addition of Carlos Hyde isn't enough for that running back depth chart, so maybe they go and draft another guy like, hey, just say Javonte Williams if he falls to the very beginning of the third. So James Robinson, something can change with his situation. And yeah, I mean, he is a stud running back. If he is the feature down starting running back and they don't bring in any depth behind him going into the year, he should be a top 10 running back. Nobody is questioning that. But we look historically, those running backs that don't have the team investment, while yes, they can be good short-term assets. You could look at a James Robinson and go, he projects very well for 2021. At the same time, say, what happens if James Robinson, for whatever reason, you end up seeing him have a bad season? If James Robinson is disappointing, I don't know, maybe it's a fumble issue, maybe it's something that we're not even expecting, or he suffers a significant injury, then you have this Jacksonville Jaguars roster looking at James Robinson, and it's not an Ezekiel Elliott type situation. They don't have that guaranteed money invested into him. They don't have the NFL draft capital invested into him. So it may be a situation where you're worried about his 2022 value and beyond rather than his 2021 value. And we know, just say you draft a Najee Harris or Travis Etienne at the 103. Maybe you go QB there. Maybe you take a Justin Fields. Really doesn't matter at this point. But, either rookie running back, even if they have a subpar rookie season, as long as they get the NFL draft capital that we expect them to, their dynasty value, their real-life NFL value, isn't really going to tank because they will be attached to that draft capital. They will have the contract. And just think of what happened with Clyde Edwards-Helaire in his rookie year. I mean, CEH was very disappointing. Nobody really expected him to have that poor of a rookie season. Yet he is still a decent dynasty asset. I mean, he is by no means going to be someone that you can just treat as a throw-in in a deal. He's still a centerpiece. So because of that, the 103 has way more long-term stability. That's going to be the side we're taking here. All right, so now let's get our next trade up. This is going to be from Brandon, who is hopefully on the right side of this trade. I don't know how to look at this. So, Brandon, I'll say you made a horrendous trade if you traded away Saquon Barkley. Now, this official trade is Saquon Barkley, the rookie pick 310, for Michael Pittman, the 105, and the 205. Now, assuming that you watch the videos often, I am sure that you know our stance on Saquon Barkley. Regardless of if you agree or not, that's not too important. But I'm going to hate this trade here because we're looking at Saquon Barkley and we're going, personally, he's my dynasty running back one. I mean, I also love the addition of Kenny Golladay, and I know that kind of seems like I'm talking nonsense there, but we understand that Kenny Golladay is going to affect the overall efficiency for the New York Giants offense. And if we expect this offense to be a little bit more efficient, you expect more first downs, you expect more trips to the red zone, which means more points scored for Saquon Barkley. To go along with this, Saquon Barkley was drafted in that 2019 NFL draft class, and he was that second overall pick. So we know that he has a ton of long-term job security. So with Saquon Barkley, you're looking at him being an elite dynasty asset, a running back one for years to come. He is my running back one overall. And on the other end of the spectrum, yeah, the 105, the 205, those are nice picks. I mean, you look at the 105, what you're most likely going to be looking at if you look at our recent Dynasty ADP on Patreon, you have a Trey Lance, you have a Justin Fields, you have a player like Zach Wilson, maybe, just maybe, depending on the league, you get a running back like Najee Harris or Travis Etienne falling there. And then we go to the 205, and at the 205, you're still going to be looking at some intriguing options. I mean, you're going to have like a player like Amon-Ra St. Brown there, Diami Brown, if that's your cup of tea. I know a lot of people have been hype on him lately, a Chuba Hubbard. But still, Saquon Barkley is the elite asset here, and it's not even close. And a quick side conversation about Michael Pittman. I know that a lot of people told me last offseason I was overvaluing Juju Smith-Schuster because of his TikTok, because of his Instagram, his YouTube taking away too much of its attention. And I said, okay, Boomer, you have no idea what you're talking about. These young athletes, they can manage their own brand. They can manage being an influencer, at least trying to be an influencer, and being a professional football player at the same time. Well, with Juju, we have to sit here and go, was I wrong, or was something just wrong about the historic age-adjusted production that he had, and for whatever reason, ends up becoming a worse football player as his career progresses to age 24? Or were they right about social media? And I think maybe the answer was y'all were right, I was wrong. And Michael Pittman on that same path. I know a lot of people want to look at Chase Claypool being quote-unquote a TikTok boy, but no, Michael Pittman is definitely growing his own brand, focusing on that. And I want to say that last offseason, I thought that didn't matter at all. And simply, I'm saying here, I still don't know if it matters, but maybe I just can't completely shake it off. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, because I think that the first time I heard that take, I was just laughing at the person who said it. I was like, oh my God, they have no idea what they're talking about. They are such an old head. And now I'm sitting here going, you know what, maybe, just maybe they were onto something. Okay. But the last trade we're going to bring up is coming out from Jared. And here he traded, I'm hoping, Josh Jacobs. But I don't know. We're going to grade it regardless. Traded Josh Jacobs, the 302, and a 2022 second round pick for Antonio Gibson, the 304, and the 409. Okay, so I'll say, because of the tier drop-offs right now, if you go over to Patreon, and quick side note, the ADP on Patreon is also completely free. That's an unlocked post. If you go over there and check out the ADP, I mean, the 304, the 302, pretty much the same thing. So you don't necessarily even have to talk about that, and you can turn this into Antonio Gibson and the 409. If you look at the 409, literally, it's meaningless. I mean, the hit rate at that range is going to be 1% to 2%. So I'm just going to throw that out completely. You could say that the 304 and the 409 equal the 302. Take them out. So you're pretty much looking at Antonio Gibson for Josh Jacobs and a 2022 second round pick. Now, here we have to address what happened with Josh Jacobs. Obviously, in free agency, you have Kenyon Drake coming in, and I'm not too worried about Kenyon Drake's actual talent. I'm more so worried about the contract that they gave him and what it shows about what his role should be this upcoming year. So Josh Jacobs going to be limited in that area. And also, if y'all are ever in the Patreon chat, if y'all are ever paying attention, y'all know Baskin is always so active there. And he was saying before the Kenyon Drake signing that we needed to be looking at all the offensive linemen that Las Vegas lost, that this was a team that was not even close to the same standard of offensive line play going into 2022. Then they add another running back. Then they do not decide to do anything at the wide receiver position while losing multiple players. So we're sitting here going, okay, the wide receiver core is worse. The offensive line is worse. They added Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake literally doesn't matter in the slightest. This team is going to have a much lower overall offensive efficiency unless they change something with their talent profile. And Josh Jacobs is going to be seeing less touches overall in this offense. Here, I think you go Antonio Gibson easily. Antonio Gibson, while yes, is also going to be playing in an offense that shouldn't be near the top of the league in the amount of points that they score, but still, it's going to be comparable to that Las Vegas team. And instead of splitting the backfield, Antonio Gibson, I think, is going to take that step up and start getting targeted as well. So you have to love Antonio Gibson in this trade. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Of course, if you have any trade questions, A, you can message me on Patreon. B, you can decide to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and come out to the premieres. Or maybe I'll be answering questions down in the comment section below if I find the time tomorrow. So please, guys, leave your comments, drop those likes, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all with the premiere tomorrow.